Alright, this is Caesaris, Commentarii de Bello Gallico, Book 1, Chapter 4, and we've got some work to do, it looks like, so let's go ahead and get started. So first we have in the nominative feminine there, that thing, and we'll go back to figure out what that thing is. So in this last little bit, we were talking about Orgetorix's plan. He talked about how he was positioned in the correct way just to get all this power over Gaul and have the Helvetians, and he just allied himself with all these other people so that he could accomplish this even more smoothly. And this conspiracy, the deceit, deceit that he had within his own people is what that thing is. So that thing, and then we have this est, is, and we have Helvetes in the dative for the Helvetians, per indicium, so through testimony or by testimony even, enunciata. So even though the est is way over here and the fourth principal part is way out here at the end, you could say that that thing is having been proclaimed. But that sounds just a little awkward. You might as well go ahead and translate it as well as it just said enunciata est, or that thing has been proclaimed to the Helvetians, dative object, by testimony. So there was a whistleblower. Short, easy little sentence right there. So moribus suis, by their own customs. We have Orgetorix here as the direct object, and we've got a typo right here in the next word, which I'll fix. Ex vinculus, from or out of chains. We have causam, another direct object. Dicera, this infinitive, so our double direct object now might be a little clearer as we can see that it could be an indirect statement, coagerunt, so having forced or have forced, and the plural there. So by their own customs, with this plural, it's talking about the Helvetians. How are they going to react when they hear this whistleblower tell them about the conspiracy? By their own customs, they have forced, and though we have the rest of our words making up the indirect statement, you could say that forced that. It almost makes it a little easier. It makes it a little easier in English just to say that they forced Orgetorix, and you just translate it as the infinitive, to speak his case, or though it's literally reason, we're just going to say case here because it is more than just a singular reason. Really, it's just this conspiracy and this thing that he's done, and to explain, tell people what he's done, confess, so to speak his case from chains or shackles, vinculus. And then we have damnatum, and that's going to be something's being condemned, and the masculine, I think, or it's Orgetorix. And then we have poenam sequi oportabat. Now, oportabat is it was necessary, so it was necessary or even inevitable. It was inevitable that that punishment, because punishment and follow, and then we have he condemned, assuming that this is referring back to Orgetorix, that he's not going to be following the punishment. The punishment will follow him, and that's the order we're going to assume for this. It can be difficult with these more than one direct objects here. Punishment followed him, condemned. condemned. That fourth principal part, perfect passive participle. And then we have simply a purpose clause, so that we have igni in the ablative and cremater. This is something that I've noticed several times. They like to say burned with fire, so that he might be burned with fire. A little redundant, but it's the way it is. So basically we have the explanation that in the Helvetians' way of life, they like to bind the person up when they're guilty and get them to speak, and they're going to have punishment, and it's inevitable. It's going to happen. So that's Vercingetorix's pickle. He's been caught by whoever this whistleblower was, which is not important to Caesar. Important enough anyways to include it. So then we have an ablative of time here with da and constituta. And then of course we have causae dictionis, a genitive that follows directly afterwards. And you could say, well, doesn't that genitive have to do maybe with the phrase or clause or noun after it? But if you have Vercingetorix, and Vercingetorix of the reason of his speech simply doesn't really go anywhere. So I think that it really has to do more with this and with this ablative of time here. So on the day having been set, or on the decided day, on the day decided upon, maybe, to leave it out though, of the speech of the case, Vercingetorix, or subject, ad judicium, with being to the trial or to the judgment, omnem suam familiam, all his family, which is toward, wow, that's a lot of people, toward 10,000s of men, undique, from all sides, adverb there, coagit. So Vercingetorix has assembled all his own family toward, I'll just say about, as it fits better with our language, about 10,000s of men and I was going to put from all sides at the end there, but I think I'm going to stick it right here. Assembled from all sides. You could even just say from all parts, meaning from all areas, from all regions, maybe. 10,000s of men. So he's got a huge assembly of people that he's going to have, and let's see what he tries to do. At omnes, and there's more people, and all his clients and all his own debtors. And we have a relative clause illustrating more about these, of whom magnum numerum habibat. So he was having a great number of these clients, and I guess just debtors for that relative clause, and all his clients and his own debtors, of whom he was having a great number. And then we have eodem conduxit, and when you first see eodem, you might be thinking, oh, that just means to the same person, to Vercingetorix, but we have to remember that the EI is the dative, not the EO, and then we think, oh, it's the ablative, and then why would it be the ablative? Well, there actually is another meaning for eodem in this particular case, and that can be to the same place or for the same purpose, kind of an abstraction of the the idea of the ablative. We see similar trend with quo, and that can be to which place or for what purpose even. So it's kind of similar roles of each case, and with these pronouns, and you got to make sure that it might just be a noun on its own as opposed to actually referring, or it could just be a pronoun that means something more abstract than just meaning an antecedent that's earlier in the sentence, though most of the time it will mean that. And so he is in all his clients every number, he has led to the same place. And then we have through those ne causam diceret, a negative purpose clause in here, lest the case and he should speak himself, he has arrested or snatched himself away. So through he has stolen himself away, or stolen himself out or off even. I'm just going to say stolen himself away through those, lest he might speak his case, which is a euphemism for the inevitable punishment that followed him. The burning with fire, not just burning, but burning with fire, which I guess is just double emphasis. And then we have a cum clause here. When civitas ob eam rem, and it's going to be our subject here, feminine citizenry. When the citizenry, on account of that matter, we have this incitata, and this is going to be the parent or anchor for this prepositional phrase here, aroused on account of that matter. And we have a with arms or a for arms perhaps. Use, this can be law, right, power, or authority, widely meaning, but still not as wide as just having no word, of course. We have suum, and that's going to be describing use. Remember, this is a neuter noun. And then exequi, a bit of a infinitive there, so a indirect statement, or because this is try or attempt, kind of a adverbial completion there with that infinitive. So when the citizenry might have tried, or really have to end up choosing between having the have or no have with these imperfect subjunctive tenses, might have tried to pursue, and they're pursuing law or justice, or, well, they're really pursuing their own authority, or they're kind of being like vigilantes in a way. So they're pursuing their own authority. Might have tried to pursue their own authority. And then we'll go back, and I don't want to forget to modify our citizenry with these words. Aroused by or on because of that matter. And then that's when the clause ends. So he ran away, and now a bunch of vigilantes have taken up the cause, so to speak. And not only these, and we have a multitude, in the accusative case, of men from the fields. The officials are subject, the fourth declension there, plural, cogurent, another imperfect subjunctive, and the officials, that's what the magistratus are, they're the officials of the state, government officials, might have assembled. So I think this is kind of cool because we have both this verb being used with just a direct object as being assembled up here, and we also had it earlier when he assembled his family, and then of course we also have it up here in a different meaning with an indirect statement. They have forced him. So it really shows the diverse meanings that kogo, kogara, koegi, coactus can have. That form of, or with the prefix ago, agara, egi, actus. So when with the direct indirect statement, it just means force. It can mean compel or assemble, and it's just, you can think there's a lot of different ways to use that word. And the officials might have assembled a multitude of men from the fields. And a really simple sort of sentence, we just says Orgeterix mortuus est, the deponent, perfect active there. So Orgeterix has died, and that's it for Orgeterix. We have a little bit of a wrap up there before it ends, but this is kind of the culmination of this chapter with the whistleblowing. Everybody's putting Orgeterix on trial. The vigilante's taken it into his own hands. There's going to be about to be an issue because all of his family, the 10,000 family members and all the clients and debtors are there. It seems like kind of an exaggeration, but I don't know. But he's in a sticky position, so there's nothing really to do. So he has died, and kind of hear more about these last two statements. And there is not suspicion, this and not kind of there, and then we have abest, there is absent, or to be away, to be absent. There's no suspicion, lacking, or absent, or there is no suspicion. Yeah, that's probably pretty good. Yeah. So there's no, it's kind of difficult because you have both the not and then this kind of negative meaning of to be away, to not be there. It's kind of difficult. There is no suspicion, absent, so they're saying that there's no doubt about it, pretty much. No doubt about it. As the Helvetians, that long I ending there, with the Helvetii, nominative, Helvetians, arbitrantur, consider or think, and that's a deponent, so as the Helvetians think, or perhaps consider it, with it just being a shattered in kind of direct object there. And then we have an indirect question, once again with Quinn, he himself, for himself. So we have a lot of extra pronouns, both intensive and reflexive, going on. Death, mortem conscuerit, which is to decree, to take even. So why? So there's no doubt about it, no suspicion, absent. Why he himself should, or why he himself should not, because that's Quinn is why not, why he himself should not have declared death for himself. And this is kind of a little bit of a roundabout way of saying that he took his own life. Orgeterix has died, and kind of there's no doubt about it. why he should have not taken his own life, because he was in a sticky situation, and the Helvetians even putting them back in there about them recalling the events. So now we're a people without a leader. There's no leader. Everything's planned. Everything is sort of ready to go, but there's no leader. No Vercingetorix, who is conspiring to take power. And so this is kind of an interesting situation, and we'll see about it next time. So that was chapter 4. Hope this helps.